All right, good evening, everyone. Time is 6:30. This regular meeting of the mayor and council is now called to order. Roll call, all council members are present with the exception of Miss Teresa Price. Her mother passed away earlier this week, so please keep Teresa in your thoughts and prayers. Please rise for a pledge of allegiance. Fall.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord Jesus, we thank you so much for just another day. And Lord, we thank you for the cooler temperatures and the weather is slowly changing outside. Lord, we thank you for just the opportunity we have to come together tonight and just to do the business for the city. Lord, I pray that you give us wisdom and direction and clarity and do what's best for the citizens here and our community and ultimately bring glory to you. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
All right, I do have a few announcements. All of these meetings are here in the community room unless I state otherwise. Council meeting, obviously tonight, started at 6:30. We have municipal court, September the 20th at 1 p.m. Planning Commission meets September 26th, 6 p.m. Tree Board meeting, September 28th, 6 p.m. Our council work session, October the 5th at 6:30 p.m. Main Street Commission meeting, October the 10th at 8 a.m. Historic Preservation meeting, October 10, 6 p.m. Our next council meeting, October the 17th, 6:30 p.m. And we have a boards and commissions dinner, which is October the 23rd, 6:30, and that's at the church at the Grove. All right, coming up we have presentations. First up is employee introduction and recognition.
I believe Chief Guest has some individuals we can recognize tonight.
Yes, thank you. Right out of the gate. Mr. Taylor, thank you. Mayor, council members, thank you for your time. Basically what I want to do is to just take a couple minutes. We have two newly promoted corporals and I wanted to present them to you as well as read out their promotion warrants and we'll hand them out their badges here tonight. Officers Barnes and Williams. Where's Officer Williams? Is he still out on that call? Okay. Unfortunately, Officer Williams is out on a nuisance call with some new people who moved in with 10 Great Danes. Is there any way I could ask to table this for just a few minutes? Sure. Thank you. I appreciate that. My apologies.
Yeah, he sounds like he might have his hands full. All right, Amber, downtown rundown. Is Amber not on the way? Okay, well, let's just take a breath then. How about that? We can go ahead and take the, we do have one citizen request. That's Mr. Rick Holder for a driveway at 304 South Cherokee. Mr. Holder.
Mr. Mayor, then I'd like to pass these out.
Sure.
I know that they were in your I believe they were in your package, but also there's quite a lot of information here. I do want to be brief and respect your time. And I do want to thank, I want to thank Ms. Roper for helping me get prepared, get this information to you. Looks like I got a couple of extras. Anybody like one? Thank you very much for allowing me some time tonight. Won't reread the narrative in your package, but I'll try to give a little background.
Just need some readers.
Rick, that's all right there. Oh, Marlon, thank you.
They're just readers.
Yeah, good. I hope they're strong. A little background about the property, and I am here to try to work the process forward to try to get a driveway on the property 304 South Cherokee, commonly known as the Old Mill Store, known as the Cooperative Department Store. Stained glass window still exists right there above the front door. And the property was bought in 1919 by the Social Circle Cotton Mill, and in the early 20s the store was built. And now my historian is not here. Noel Deal furnished me with most of this, and it can be fact-checked, and I'll apologize if it's not mostly correct. In the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, it was the mill store. In the 70s, maybe some in the 60s, it was restaurants, butcher shop. The 80s, it began to be a residence/woodworking shop, and that continued to, I believe, around 2018. I bought the property in 2022. I did not know that I did not have any land for a driveway. When I found that out, I bought an easement from my neighbor, Miss Jenny Watt, who was very gracious to me, and sold me an easement. This had been used by the store, I think, anyway, but she certainly owned it, and I bought it, and I appreciate it. I got a survey, I got a driveway design, as I was advised to do by Planning and Zoning and the Development Department here. I was told it could not be a driveway because it was, that right had been given up by the previous owner when DOT did the bridge project. But South Cherokee is a city road, so the city has the right to issue a driveway on South Cherokee, no longer DOT. I was told there was nowhere to park. It was zoned commercial, and there would be no parking on the railroad right-of-way. Then I was told until zoning was changed, no use in trying to get the driveway design accepted. I went to a pre-zoning conference, and then I was told that I couldn't get R1 or R2. It was non-conforming lot. And so it seemed I was having a good bit of obstacles. And so I asked for an administrative rezone. I couldn't get that because I was zoned commercial, the only zoning that would allow for a lot as small as mine. So I had to have a 22-foot driveway on a 22-foot easement, and that's not possible, I don't believe. I was told that I could not have a driveway because I had no parking. I pointed out that some area not on railroad right of way and not owned by my neighbor was adjacent to my easement, but I was told I could not park there because I didn't own it. I believe that to be no man's land, and I thought I could at least turn around on that land and not be on my neighbor's property and not be on the railroad, and so I wouldn't have to back out into the road because I've been told I couldn't back out into the road, and I certainly don't want to do anything unsafe or cause an unsafe situation. I asked for a driveway application that had been approved so I could learn maybe something that I didn't already know, but none was available for me to see. I was told I could not back out into the street, but I did a small survey and I saw 36 driveways within 1 mile, maybe a mile and a half. on the collector roads and the main roads that it appears that people backed out into the street. Now, I don't want to be number 37. I want to park on the railroad right-of-way where there's been parking for over 100 years. In your welcome center, there's a photograph of the old mill property, which also shows the store. And it shows the parking, which was on the south side of the building until the bridge project came along and the grade was changed significantly, and there was no way to get a driveway in. But the parking's still there. And I pointed that out, and I was told I could not park on railroad right-of-way, so I pointed out there was a parking lot, or what appeared to be a parking lot, across the bridge on the railroad right-of-way. I wondered, did the city have some agreement with the railroad? I felt that if they did, maybe it would account for the stairs at the bottom of my property, which were evidently for the mill employees to cross the track and come to the shop at the department store or the store. Today, I think it kind of constitutes an attractive nuisance. And if we have homeless people, which I believe we do, living in the mill, then that's the way they come to town, across the track and up the steps and across my property. I felt, after all this happened, that a broader discussion might prove useful. So I'm here this evening, and I'm asking for some relief to move this process forward. I do have a driveway design engineered, but the engineer reviewing seems to be more interested in me not parking on the railroad than considering the aspects of an engineered driveway. I have a good neighbor. The railroad is my neighbor. And I define one I think a good neighbor is one who doesn't bother you. And I don't think the railroad's bothered that property in 100 years. And the building is built across the railroad right-of-way. I wouldn't be as worried about parking my car if the railroad came along and said, you can't park your car there, you can't turn around there. I would be worried that they would say you can't have this building there anymore. But I don't believe they're going to do that. I mean, I think that there's been an agreement, and the old social circle section map, railroad map, states by agreement. Now, I don't know what that agreement was. It could have been an agreement between the mill and the railroad. Certainly, there's a lot of things going on down there from the depot all the way up to the bridge. There was an old wagon road that crossed the bridge there and went behind, along the tracks behind my property. And it shows on some of the old plats. There were, in the old deeds, mentioned that so-and-so would sell a piece of property at the depot as long as they were able to maintain a dock, a loading dock, 2.5 feet or 3.5 feet from the spur track, so they could load and unload. And that accounts for some of the railroad right-of-way being 38 feet from the main line, and some of it being 200 feet, and there's all of the distances in between as you go up and see those properties. I'm asking that the mayor and council recognize that this is a non-conforming property. It probably was before the bridge project. It's been severely limited and impacted by an important project that good for the city, good for the citizens, good for everybody. I have taken reasonable steps to make it more viable and more usable by buying the easement, by getting a modern, up-to-date survey, by having an engineered driveway done. It is a historic and important building, and you've pointed that out in your literature for your Downtown Development Authority, I guess 10-year plan, 5-year plan. It says noteworthy also is the old Social Circle Mill store. I or any owner would be reluctant to spend money to improve the property without the city showing a willingness to work with me to get access. And whereas I'm not here to throw stones at anybody, I'm just asking for a collective working together to see if we can get something done. This property anchors the southern gateway to downtown and should not be left behind. It's everyone's problem when an opportunity is lost. And I think if we can't make this property worth all it can be, then that's a lost opportunity. I would ask you to please instruct your staff to use all their powers and all their imagination and help me get this done. If you'd like to, I'll go over these exhibits with you and tell you what I see in them. If you don't think that's necessary, then I'll answer any questions.
Rick, if you can make that brief, that'll be fine, I think.
All right. Exhibit A shows the subject property in kind of a lime green. It shows in a red hatch mark where the original parking was and has been for all these years. Orange is what I call the no man's land behind my easement, which is in pink, and behind the lots of my neighbors. Across the track, you would see where there is, on the railroad right-of-way, a drive which serves the Social Circle Cotton Mill property. It serves the old Cotton Mill office, which is now a duplex, and it also serves the Social Circle Springs property. The next one shows the 4 lots on Cherokee next to me. Again, my easement is in pink. Again, the red original parking and the lime-colored subject property. You can see there very easily how I had to have the easement because the property line that I have is about 1.5 feet from the building. The Val map is Exhibit C, that's the railroad map. And again, this one shows the old wagon road. And that's fascinating to me because it goes down and kind of disappears down where the depot is. And I believe there are some alleys and some talk of some alleys or maybe 1 or 2, and some of the plats show that. Again, the pink easement, lime color, and you see the parking where it's always been. Exhibit D shows some of the properties formerly owned by Benny Ray Anderson, and it shows, I believe, that property that had to remain with a dock next to the spur track. That accounts for the right-of-way being so different down there because there's a lot of things going on. And again, it shows the no man's land, what I believe the old wagon road. And Exhibit E would be a plat of the cotton mill property, and it shows a couple of interesting things. Totally within the railroad right-of-way, there was it says office building. I remember it as an old White House that was there probably 10 years ago. It's since been fallen down. There's a fence that surrounded the cotton mill. And then to the east would be the Social Circle Springs property. It shows in green a house that's served by a driveway that's totally on railroad property. And it shows the cotton mill building, one of the first warehouses that encroach onto railroad property. And so there's just a lot of things going on with this area and the railroad right-of-way and the use of land over the years. And so I'm not happy the railroad right-of-way is on my property, but I intend to be a good neighbor, and I hope they will too. And I want to work through this process and improve the value of the property and improve the usefulness of the property, and I ask for your help tonight.
Mr. Holder, thank you for your comments, your investment in our community. That's certainly appreciated. I know that's not the only property you have here, so we thank you for that. Obviously, council will not make a decision tonight on anything you've mentioned, but we do appreciate your comments, and my belief is this still needs to go through historic preservation, planning and zoning before it comes to the council for any decision. Am I right on that, Ashley?
That's correct.
Okay. So you still got some meetings to go through before it comes to the council, but we appreciate your comments tonight.
I appreciate you saying that, and I do want to work through the process, and I do want everyone on the same team because I think it's a worthwhile project,
Yep.
and I appreciate it. Any other questions from me?
Anybody? Thank you, sir. Yeah. Amber, let's come back to you for the downtown rundown.
I apologize for my tardiness. The first on my rundown for tonight is the Chamber Car Show. The car show that was to be hosted by the Walton County Chamber this Saturday has been canceled. The Chamber says that they plan to work on hosting an event in Social Circle sometime next year. Next on my list is Coffee with the Chief at 9 a.m. on October 17th. At the Welcome Center, we'll be hosting coffee with chief guest. This will be an opportunity for people in the community as well as business owners to come out and meet him that have not had the opportunity to do so since he started in June, and everyone is invited to attend. And then last on my list is just a reminder about the Chamber Political Candidate Forum that will be for the District 4 Council seat, School Board Chairman, and School Board Districts 1 and 4. That will be this Monday, September 25th at 6 p.m. at Church of the Grove. And that's all I have.
Yeah. Any questions for Amber? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Chief, you're Mr. Williams not here yet.
No, Mr. Mayor, unfortunately, this isn't going to work out quite the way we wanted it. We got, like I said, we got a complaint call right last minute, and also we want to address it. So we'll do this one privately, but I definitely want to acknowledge Officer Barnes and Officer Williams from out the Corporal. We're happy to have them, and we'll look forward to their leadership and their guidance within the police department.
Can we look at next month? Can we look at recognizing next month?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, all right, very good, thank you. Do we have any council requests? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion from Tyson, second from Nathan. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We don't have any public hearings scheduled tonight. Moves us into the consent agenda. Mr. Taylor.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 items on the consent agenda this evening. We have the minutes of the mayor and council regular meeting of August the 15th. We have the executive session minutes of August the 15th. We have the minutes of the mayor and council work session that was held on September the 7th. We have the executive session minutes that was held on September 7th. We have consideration of the modification of the police vehicle take-home policy. If approved, this will extend the take-home radius from 30 miles from City Hall to 50 miles. And we think that this will help with our police recruitment quite a bit. We also have a consideration of declaration of surplus property. We have quite a few vehicles and public works equipment that is no longer of use to the city, and we're looking to dispose of it as appropriate. I will note that that the agenda item still says the Magnum XL vehicle lift. While we still maintain this as surplus, we're going to remove it from the list at this time. until we move into our new public works facility and see if our needs change at that point.
Okay.
Recommend approval.
Okay. You've heard the summary. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Nathan, second from Tyson. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. We have no unfinished business, new business, consideration of fiscal year 25 transit budget.
Amber, you going to present that?
It's pretty much still the same. Our application has to be submitted by September the 30th. That's the deadline. And we are actually finished with it a little bit early, so we'll be submitting it by the end of this week. This year, the estimated budget for fiscal year 25 is going to be $158,204. And again, this is our 50-50 match through the state for our transit service. Last year, so our matching funds would be $79,102 from the city. In fiscal year 24, the budget was $146,806, and just with increased materials, cost of materials is the cost for the increase for this year.
Okay. Any questions for Amber on this one? I'll take a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
A motion from Tyson and a second from Steve. Is there further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Amber. Next up, consideration of award of an RFQ for parks and facilities. That's a master plan.
So with the acquisition, with the transaction that the city recently did with the school board, the city now has possession of Stevens Park and will in the future hopefully get possession of the primary school and the elementary school at some point, according to the contract that we signed with the school. We put out an RFQ, request for qualifications, for qualified firms to present how they would approach this particular project. Two firms responded, Tunnell Spangler Walsh and Clark Patterson Lee, and we recommend awarding to Clark Patterson Lee as we feel like that their proposal best fits the needs for this particular project.
Are they the same ones we used?
Yes. Yes. And I will say, for the record, that's an important part of our consideration for this, just for some continuity with the money we spent, with the vision we created with the development code.
Well, all they're gonna do is evaluate, and get together and make a recommendation.
They're going to make a recommendation. It's a master plan process. Okay, they're going to seek community input. They are going to look at city facilities, what our future needs are. Look at city parks, what our future needs are, what the community wants to see for parks. Also, as part of this, we're having them evaluate. We have a sidewalk and trail master plan that was adopted several years ago. All of that is, however, is just a bunch of lines on a piece of paper with no roadmap to get us there. So we're going to have them evaluate that as well as part of the Parks Master Plan. And also as part of this, we're going to have them talk about look at the Public Works facilities options as well.
How long of a process is that? A year? Or?
It can be as long as we want it to be. Typically, these things probably take about 9 months. It won't be as long as the UDC process.
How we're going to make sure we reach out to the community? Just Facebook, or we're going to send letters, or email or something?
Yeah, CPL has a strategy that they've got. They'll have some community meetings. They'll have some Facebook. They'll put out some surveys.
Okay.
That's a very important part of this process. We don't want to assume what the community wants in the park system.
So you see both bids' recommendation from staff is to take RFQ from CPL.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
recommendation.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion from Tyson and a second from Nathan to approve the RFQ for CPL. Is there further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Third item on our agenda, consideration of a bid award for the water treatment plant improvement phase 1.
Yeah, Rod, why don't you come up here and handle that one? I'm looking forward here.
This, we received 2 bids, and All South was the lowest at $2,118,222. And this includes filter bottoms, filter media, controls, instrumentation, valves, actuators, and miscellaneous improvements, which includes the SCADA system too. Our engineer has vetted All South, and they're a pretty good contractor, so we recommend awarding All South the contract.
Contract in the amount of $2,118,222, the lowest responsive bid.
As opposed to
2.61938 from Rehab Construction.
And the engineer, Mr. Parker.
No, Krebs done their background, and then I also asked Kenny Green about it.
Okay, okay. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve All South Constructors Incorporated for this bid. Any further discussion? All that are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Tony J., any need for an executive session? Okay. Seeing no need for that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Got a motion from Tyson, second from Steve. All in favor say aye. We stand adjourned.